Elena held the manuscript in her hands. It wasn't a novel or a collection of stories. It was the truth she'd lived for over a decade. The pages listed names, dates, numbers, a story the publishing industry wanted buried. Her friend warned her, "If you publish this, they'll bury you, not with a bang, but with a whisper." Elena knew the risk. She was respected, established. This manuscript could end it all. She remembered the women she'd spoken to. Brilliant writers denied marketing, editors pushed out for advocating too hard. The silent agreement everyone knew, but no one said it out loud. This manuscript was her attempt to shout. The weight of the paper was immense, a choice between comfort and change. She could put it away, keep playing the game, or risk everything for those who'd come after. Fear told her to be quiet, but justice urged her forward. Breaking the silence is dangerous, especially for women. We're taught to be agreeable, grateful for scraps, never disruptive. Point out the cracks, and you're a problem to be managed. Elena looked at the title, The Unwritten Rules. She took a deep breath, ready to break them all. She knew the silence would fight back, but she was done being quiet. The cost of silence was too high. She was ready to pay the price for truth. The industry's rules had protected itself for too long. Elena was about to challenge them all. She wasn't sure what would happen next, but she knew she couldn't turn back. The silence was about to be broken, even if it tried to break her first. She turned the page and began. Before she became a pariah, Elena was an insider, a mid-list author, respected, invited to panels, with a room of her own paid for by her words. From this vantage point, she saw the cracks men with bigger advances, women's books mismarketed, marketing budgets skewed. It wasn't isolated, it was a pattern. Quiet conversations with other women revealed the same editors told to avoid difficult women's stories, agents advising female clients to be less demanding. A successful woman denied a tour, while a less successful man got one. The system devalued women's work, wrapped in polite business language. "It's not personal," they'd say, but Elena saw it was. 1,000 tiny cuts, bleeding women out of the industry. Her room with a view became a cage overlooking a battlefield. She could no longer ignore what she saw. Elena's instinct was to document. She started a private file, the ledger. Every story, every detail, anonymized but precise. The file grew into a damning record of systemic bias. It wasn't a conspiracy, but a culture. Biases acted out, creating inequality. The likability trap. Women's characters had to be pleasant, not too angry. Men could write monsters and be called geniuses. Financial disparity was clear. Men got bigger advances, better placement, more media. Women's success was a fluke. Men's proof of talent. The system invested in men, gambled on women. Elena wove these stories into a manuscript, calm, factual, devastating. She exposed how gatekeepers used words like fit and market appeal to mask bias. Her exposé revealed an industry that claimed progressiveness but clung to old prejudices. The evidence was undeniable. The narrative was powerful. Elena was ready to share it. The truth was on the page. Elena finished the manuscript and sent it to her trusted agent. Weeks passed. The reply: "I cannot in good conscience send this out. It would be career suicide." No discussion, just a closed door. Elena tried editors directly. Old allies. The answer: brave, but my hands are tied. Not a good fit. No market. Legal risk. No one disputed her facts. They just refused to touch it. The manuscript was radioactive, exposing the very people she needed. Even a radical indie press, led by a passionate editor, backed out, afraid of industry backlash. "We're too small to survive a war with the whole industry," the editor whispered. Every door closed, not because she was wrong, but because she was right. The silence was louder than any rejection. Elena realized the industry would protect itself at all costs. Her truth was too dangerous. She was left holding a story no one dared publish. The manuscript became a symbol of everything the industry refused to face. Elena stood alone, but unbroken. She would not let the silence win. The truth was still hers. She would find another way. The fight was just beginning. The cost was real, but so was her resolve. She would not be erased. The manuscript remained a threat, and a promise. Elena was not done. The story would not die. Not while she still had a voice. Not while the truth still mattered. The rejections were just the start. Elena's career faded, not with drama, but with silence. Emails went unanswered. Festival invites vanished. A teaching job disappeared. No memo, no blacklist. Just a wall where doors used to be. Her agent became distant, then suggested they part ways amicably. New agents didn't respond or claimed they weren't taking clients. The blacklisting was invisible, deniable. If she complained, she'd sound paranoid. The industry perfected silent shunning. No fingerprints, just doubt. Was her new novel bad? Was she irrelevant? The process made her question her own sanity. A friend explained, "No one needs to be told to avoid you. Word gets around. Everyone's protecting themselves." It wasn't a conspiracy, just 1,000 acts of self-preservation. Elena became a ghost, present, but unseen. She wasn't just unpublished, she was unpersoned. The silence was total. The cost of truth was isolation. But Elena refused to disappear. She would not let them erase her story. Why was Elena punished so harshly? If a man had written her exposé, he'd be called a maverick, a fearless truth-teller. He'd be praised for courage, invited to speak. Elena was labeled a troublemaker, emotional, difficult. When women speak out, their tone is judged, not their facts. Passion is called hysteria, anger is unhinged. Facts become resentment. The industry didn't engage with Elena's data, they just labeled her. Once you're difficult, everything you say is dismissed. It's a classic silencing tactic: shift focus from the problem to the person. The system protects itself by discrediting women who challenge it. A woman's right to speak is still conditional, revoked the moment she threatens power. Elena's courage was recast as a flaw. The price for truth was exile, but the system's shield was not impenetrable. Elena's story still mattered. The cost was high, but the silence was worse. She refused to regret speaking out. Her voice would echo, even if the industry tried to silence it. The years after were hard. Elena's income vanished, her confidence eroded. She questioned everything. Was she wrong? Bitter? Imagining it all? The gaslighting was complete. She began to believe she was the problem. She stopped writing, took a teaching job, called herself a former writer. The industry moved on, unchanged, but then quiet emails arrived from young women in publishing, whispering thanks. "You made me brave enough to say no. I fought for a book and thought of you." Her story became a legend, a warning, but also a source of strength. Elena realized her work wasn't for nothing. She hadn't started a revolution, but she'd lit candles in the dark. Her story was passed in secret, a handshake among those who knew. She lost her career, but found purpose. She was a warning and an inspiration. The silence hadn't won. Elena's truth lived on, whispered from woman to woman. She was no longer just a writer. She was a spark. Elena's story is one of many. Across industries, women who expose truths face the same fate. The details change, but the pattern is the same. The system protects itself, isolates the truth teller. She isn't fired, she's managed out, her projects defunded, her colleagues distant. The walls close in until there's no room left. These women are made to feel alone, as if their experience is unique. But they're not alone. They're part of a silent sisterhood. Their stories are whispered in private, shared as warnings, forming an underground network. This network is survival, a way women protect each other when systems fail. The tragedy: their talents are lost. The industries remain broken. Silencing women is a loss for everyone. The status quo festers when critics are silenced. Elena's industry didn't just lose a writer, it lost a chance to be better. The chorus of whispers grows. Change begins in the quiet. If you've been silenced, called difficult, or watched your career stall for speaking truth, you are not alone. Elena's story is yours, mine, countless women's. The system wants you quiet, isolated. Don't give it the satisfaction. Your story has power, even if it's only whispered. Every time you share your experience, you chip away at the wall of silence. You give another woman language, strength, and sanity. Our stories connect us. build resistance, and create a chorus that can become a roar. Don't let them take your voice. Write your story, even if just for you. Tell it to someone you trust. Find the others. They're everywhere, waiting, listening. Sharing your truth is defiance, a refusal to be erased. They can take your job, your opportunities, but not your story. Change doesn't come from one shout, but from a million whispers. Your whisper matters. It joins others, builds momentum, and wears down stone walls. Your story is a light. Don't hide it. Share it. We need to hear you. You are not alone. We are all listening.